So we will be muting everybody on this call. So what we would like for you to do is we are keeping an eye on the chat box. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please put them in the chat box. We'll go ahead and answer questions throughout the call, and then we will have an FAQ session at the end. So if your question does not happen to fit in the section we are discussing, we will save that until the end. So this recording and slide deck will go out to everybody today, and you will be receiving 2 emails today as well to register on the Concurrent HRO portal and for benefits. The agenda for today, we will go over who Concurrent HRO is. As I've mentioned, we will walk through the employee self-service registration for PRISM through Concurrent HRO. We will go through the benefit enrollment through ease, and make a note here at this point, you will be receiving 2 emails from us. One is going to be through our payroll email for the employee self-service registration. The second will be for the benefits through ease. 2 emails, and you will be asked to return this information to us completed December 11th. So next Friday will be the due date. Okay, we will also be going through a review of the benefit offerings today, and as I mentioned, questions at the end. So who is Concurrent HRO? So you may be familiar with a PEO, professional employer organization, so you may have worked with one in the past with your previous provider. So Concurrent HRO is a human resource management firm, and we are a PEO, so we are in co-employment. So your company has enlisted with this merger the services of Concurrent HRO to help with payroll, benefits, human resources, and risk management. So really, we are behind the scenes assisting with the company needs. And I want to make sure that everyone understands that our partnership and us joining today will not change your day-to-day operations. So there may be some updates to the company handbook, but for example, your schedule will not be changing. So those items I know that the company will be addressing with you directly if there are changes. And our goal today and with our continued partnership is to provide you with the best benefits and employee services possible. So you will hear us throughout the call today. Please call us if you have any questions. We are a local PEO in the Broomfield, Colorado area. If you give us a call with any questions, we'll be able to assist you. Usually it's the first or second person can assist you with your question, but we will make sure to get that addressed for you. And Julie has in the chat box put our Concurrent HRO phone number, our main line. So you should have a notification at this point at the bottom of your screen. If you hover on the bottom of the screen, the chat box should have updated with that phone number. So first item we would like to discuss with you today is going to be the employee self-service registration. So one of the emails you will be receiving is from payroll. So this is to access the employee self-service through PRISM. You can also access the information just in case you may not receive an email or you want to get ahead of the game on this before emails go out today. You can also visit our concurrenthro.com website. Excuse me, and then this is going to be the same information that you use going into the website in the future to access any of your payroll information, W-2s, updating any of your personal information. So concurrenthro.com is the website. The email that you will receive today will have a hyperlink directing you directly to step 3. So if you are visiting the page, you will access the employee login screen. On the top right-hand side, you will see a drop-down for login, and you will select employee. A couple of pointers that we see frequently come up with any issues is make sure you have your pop-up blockers disabled. We do have different applications for PDFs to view your pay stubs. So we do have additional pages that come up when you are clicking through the website. Additionally, Google Chrome, Microsoft Explorer, or Edge work best as the browsers. If you are accessing our page from an Apple product or any smart device, please note we do not have an app at this time, but our website is mobile device friendly. So if you are accessing from an Apple product, you will just need to make sure to go into your settings and turn off cross-site tracking. So this will ensure that you are able to go directly to our page without any issues. Sometimes Apple just has an issue there. All right, so once you click employee, you will be taken to the main page to log in. So at this point, once you have a login, you can go to this screen, enter your username and password. Since you will be first-time users, go ahead and click on the right-hand side where we have highlighted register. So we have been able to upload your information from your previous provider. So really, when you're going through this process, we want to double check, make sure that your information is correct, that we have the most up-to-date information in our system. So we are able to identify you by your first and last name and social security number. So note that you will be creating a username of your choice and a password of your choice. Julie will be going through ease. Note it can be the same or different password as our other portal. Just make sure to jot down this information. Make sure you remember this login password because you will be utilizing this information periodically to visit the employee self-service portal. When you are creating your password, make sure that it is 8 characters, is not the same as your username. You must have an uppercase and a lowercase, and it must contain a number. Note, we also have a 2-step verification process. We take your security very seriously. So note that through the first step here, after you enter the registration screen, you will be taken to that 2-step verification process. At that point, you can enter a phone number and email. And then in the future, you will be asked to update your password and go through the 2-step verification process frequently so that we can ensure that it is truly you logging in. All right, as I've mentioned, once you are in the portal, there's a couple of things I want you to do. So going through each tab, you will need to go through and make sure your personal information is correct in the system. Direct deposit, your W-2 information, your W-4 for your W-2 information is correct. So please go through each tab, familiarize yourself, check the information. Note that one of the tabs you are going to be clicking on is the Documents tab. So jot down this information for me, please. When you click on the Documents tab, you will see in your documents the Employee Authorization Form. Now, this form you will need to click on and sign. There are instructions attached on how to electronically sign this form. Essentially, the employment authorization allows for concurrent HRO to process your benefits and your payroll, so it is very important for us to receive that form. In case the form has issues uploading, you may also send that form to payroll@concurrenthro.com. Really, that should be a very easy process, going through, double checking your information and filling out the employee self-service portal and the authorization. So about 5 to 10 minutes, I would say, for this process if you're double checking your information. Also, I want to note that any changes you make in the portal are made in real time. So changes that you save, so for example, if you change your direct deposit, we do go through a pre-note process to ensure that is indeed your bank account. That does take about 7 to 10 days. And then on the next payroll cycle, your information will be updated. So note those are in real time changes for all of your employee file updates. If you have any questions, need assistance, you see our phone number again on the screen, please feel free to give us a call. And really that concludes the employee self-service registration. Fairly easy process. Remember, this part of the portal is due on December 11th. As well as the ease portal. So now I will go ahead and turn it over to Julie. She will go through the benefits enrollment and the overview of the benefit offerings for you today.
Gotcha. All right, as Kasha mentioned, in regards to those 2 emails that you'll be receiving today, the second email that you will get will be from Ease. It does actually come from my email address, which is jbutler@concurrenthro, so you will want to be watching for that. Also note that for the 2 emails you're receiving, the information we were able to pull from your current system, we do have some work emails for people and some personal emails for people. So if you don't see it in your work email box, make sure you're checking your personal email box, double checking spam or trash. Sometimes with Gmail accounts, the message likes to go there. So double check all of those places. And if you still don't see them, by tomorrow morning, then you can certainly reach out to us and let us know. A couple things we'd like you to know is that any benefits that you are electing will start January 1st and they will go until October 31st, 2021. So it's not quite a full calendar year. Our open enrollment period always starts on November 1st. So your first time with us, you'll have this 10-month period, and then you'll do an open enrollment to start November 1st, and then that will go for a full year. So just keep that in mind as you're making your selections. And also note that unless you have a life event that we'll cover in a little bit, you are not allowed to make any changes over the course of the year. All right. Hold on. The email you get from Ease is going to look similar to the one that you see here on the screen. It will remind you of your open enrollment date and the date that you have to make those selections, which, as Kasha mentioned, will be December 11th. What you do at the bottom is you simply click that sign up button. It's going to take you to a screen where you'll need to set your password. As mentioned previously, it can be the same password you use for the PRISM system, or it can be something different. Just make sure you write that down. Also to note, this is just simply a system we use for benefit enrollment. Once your benefit enrollments are complete and we've pulled everything and enrolled you with the carriers, your account in this program is locked and there's really not any need for you to go back into the system. So this program is used once a year when you do your benefit elections. Otherwise, the main system you're going to is that PRISM portal through concurrenthro.com. Make sure you agree to the terms and services, which is basically agreeing to allow us to pull your information and sign you up with the insurance carriers. Then you're going to hit sign up. It will take you into another screen that will show open enrollment, and then you'll hit that start enrollment button. And then one more start button. Now it does say on here that it typically takes 15 to 25 minutes. However, if you know exactly what you want to elect prior to going into this system, that can be decreased significantly to more like 10 to 15 minutes. So make sure you have all your information handy. You will need to make sure you have social security numbers and date of birth for anyone that you're enrolling in benefits, yourself and any dependents. Your progress is saved. So if you do need to go in, look at things, and then you get, called away for some reason, you can exit and go back in and finish later. You'll simply then hit that start button. And it's going to come to a personal information screen. Now, much of your information was downloaded and input into the system for you. So please, as you were doing with the other system, double check and make sure everything's correct. Specifically that social security number and date of birth. It's from this system that we pull your information and enroll you with the insurance carriers. And the last thing we want to see is you having issues when a provider goes to file a claim and it has to do with your social security or date of birth being wrong. So double check, make sure those are all correct. You'll see a contact information here. As you scroll down the screen, it will have you also input, double check your address, phone number, those type of things. Next section you're going to come to is the dependents. This is where you will want to add anyone that you want to cover for any insurance plan. Now you can elect to do medical on just yourself and then say your spouse and children on dental and vision or vice versa. You can do it however you want. You do not have to enroll each dependent in each benefit. But if you are going to enroll them in even one plan, make sure you add them at this time. Otherwise, you won't see them as you progress through the enrollment. The next screen you're going to come to is going to be your benefits selection. So your first one you'll see is your medical plan. Under this specify your coverage, your name will automatically show up. If you enter dependents, those are going to show up right below your name. So you can have anywhere from 1 to however many dependents you have listed here. Okay. As you scroll down, you're going to be able to see the plans that are available to you. And you can also compare plans. So if you want to select on 2 of them and it pulls up the information to compare different benefits of that plan, you can do that. Also know that the costs that you see on the screen throughout this whole process are a per month basis. So you'll want to cut that in half for how you guys are paid. You will need to select either the check mark for enroll or the X for waive for each person that's listed here, okay? If you don't select one of those for each person that's listed, it won't let you move on to the next screen. As you scroll down, this is just an example. These are not your specific plans, but you'll see the different plan offerings there for you, and you can select on which one you want. It's also nice, you can play around on some of the plans. You may want to play around with pricing. And so as you turn on and off those check marks and X's, the pricing will change down below. Now we are going to go through the benefit plans specifically today. However, if you want to see the documents in depth and kind of go into the nitty gritty, in this screen, you're going to see under the documents, the plan summary for that specific plan. So you can always open those up and download and save them if you choose. As you scroll through, you're going to see your benefit offerings on the left-hand side. And then over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a benefit summary, all of the costs that you've selected per month. So you can keep track of how much you're spending per month, making sure you're getting the coverages that you need, yet also staying within your budget. So this will continue to update as you go down through this list. Afterwards, when you've made all your selections, you're going to come to a benefit summary. This is where you want to double, triple check and make sure that all of your selections are exactly how you want them. Once you proceed past this, that's when you're going to be finalizing things. So if you do go through your summary and you see, oh wait, I selected, myself or vision, but I meant to select the whole family, all you simply need to do is click back on benefits, and then it will show you that plan. Click on it and you can make that change. You don't have to go through each screen again. Once you do have your summary how you want it, we do encourage you to print your summary. This is the page in which you'd want to do so. Simply click on this print your summary. It will come up and you can either save it as a PDF or print it out. Next, you're going to come to signing your forms. This is important because this also releases us to have your information and enroll you with the insurance carriers. So you'll click on sign forms. Once you do so, a box is going to pop up and it's going to have you actually type your name in. And then another screen will come up and it will have you actually draw your signature with your mouse. No, we don't expect those to be perfect. Nobody's are. So just the best you could do is great. At the very end, this is one of the most important things. We need you to make sure you hit this finish signing button that will show up in your right-hand corner. Until you click this button, we don't know that you're finished, and therefore we can't pull your elections. You just show as in progress to us. So make sure you click that button when you're completely finished. All right, that comes to the end of the enrollment process through the EASE portal. As we mentioned, if you need assistance through either of these enrollments, please feel free to call us or reach out to payroll@concurrenthro.com or benefits@concurrenthro.com. We're here for you during this time, and we want to make sure we answer any questions and help you through the process as you need. All right, next, we're going to get over to what are your benefit offerings. So you'll see on the screen here the benefit pricing for the full-time employees. These plans are available to everyone in the company. So you have an Anthem PPO 1,000, 3,000, and 6,000, and then you also have a high deductible 5,000. We'll go into the plan details in just a minute here, but these are going to show you all of your pricings per month. You'll note you have 3 dental insurance plans, one fee for service for dental and a vision. And your company is graciously providing you with $50,000 of life insurance that will be automatic, whether you enroll in benefits or not. And then you've also got some additional voluntary selections you can make for short-term life, for Colonial products that will go through, NID and Legal Shield. Couple things I like you to remember when you're discussing who you're going to cover. Your eligible dependents can be your legal spouse, civil union partner, common law spouse, or domestic partner. Please know that for any of those except for the legal spouse, we do need a signed affidavit claiming that that's how your status is. You can also cover any children up to the age of 26. It does not matter if they're in school or not. However, if they turn 26 during the year, their benefits will end the month in which they turn 26, and they would then receive information from our COBRA provider, telling them what their options are to go on COBRA, the open market, or hopefully they're employed and may be able to get insurance through their own employer. Also, when it comes to those qualifying life events that I briefly mentioned earlier, these are the only reasons that you can make any changes to your benefits. These do have to be made within 30 days of the event occurring, so make sure you don't delay in contacting us should you experience one of these. Most common are marriage, divorce, birth of a child, loss of coverage through a spouse, maybe their employer, they're losing coverage, you could then enroll them in yours. Those type of things are all qualifying events. And for all of them, except for the birth of a child, we do need supporting documentation for that. So again, also make sure you reach out to us immediately so we can let you know what it is we need documentation wise for the insurance carriers. And then we can get you enrolled within that 30-day window. All right, as I mentioned, you have 3 PPO plans. These are your traditional copay plans that you may be familiar with. The 3 different plans, they're annual deductibles, and also know it's a calendar year deductible. So your deductible will go from January 1st, excuse me, all the way to December 31st, 2021. So even though you may make changes next fall for open enrollment, your deductible will still continue for the entire year. You've got a 1,000, 3,000, or 6,000 per person, or that family max of 3,009 or 12. And then I always like to point out the out-of-pocket maximums. This is going to be worst case scenario, something happens, what's the maximum amount I'm going to have to pay? On the 1,000, it's going to be that 4,000, and then 5,000 or 7,000. And then those family max of 9, 10, and 14. So until you meet those numbers, you will continue to have co-insurance, which is kind of listed below. For example, on the 1,000 and 3,000, you'll see that after you meet that initial deductible, then the carrier covers 80%, you pay 20%, or on the 3,000, you've got a 70-30 co-insurance. So make sure you're looking at those. Also know that for all of the plans, preventative care is covered at 100%. So make sure you're going and getting those wellness checkups because those are at no cost to you. If you do have further medical visits, you've got those primary copays and then specialist copays as well. So for a second here, keep in mind that out-of-pocket maximum of that 4, 5, 7, and 9, 10, 14. What I'd like to highlight for you is that high deductible plan. So as you'll notice on this plan, the calendar year annual deductible, if you are only covering yourself, it's 5,000. However, if you're covering any dependents, it's going to be family combined of 6,850. What that means is that in any way, as a family, once you meet 6,850, then everybody is covered. Until you meet that 6,850, no one's covered at 100%, but that could be done by one person, 2 people, 3 people, however you get to that amount is up to your situation. But then also note on that out-of-pocket maximum, it's the same amount. So you're not going to be spending any more than you would be on your deductible. If you're covering only yourself, it's that 5,000. If you're covering family, it's 6,850. So let's, for example, take a look at that family. we've got a maximum out of pocket of $68.50. Yet with the other ones, you had a family max of 9, 10, and 14. Big difference there in your out of pocket maximums. So something to consider there. Worst case scenario, the high deductible is always the way to go. The other thing is even if you're covering yourself, yes, you have that $5,000 single coverage. However, we recommend that you pair this with an HSA account, and we'll review those in detail in a moment. But basically, that's going to assist you to help pay for anything that you might need medically wise. And most people won't hit that 5,000. If you do have medical needs, you may hit it. But if you don't and you rarely go to the doctor, this is going to be a great cost savings for you either way, because even if you're paying for a couple visits that say are, $125 a visit, spending that is much less than once you go back and compare premium costs, the amounts that you're paying per month. So there can be a great savings here. Once you hit those deductibles, everything is covered 100%. Preventative care is covered 100% before you meet the deductible. So that's always going to be covered. But there usually is a great savings to this plan. Most people just have to get over the mindset of, oh my gosh, I have to pay for everything until I hit that deductible. However, there are still contracted rates with the insurance providers. So you're not going to pay, what somebody who doesn't have insurance would be. It's still going to be that contracted rate. If you have questions about which plan might be best for you, please reach out to us and let us know. We're happy to talk through your individual situations and make sure that you understand the options clearly and that you're making the best selection for you and your family. We don't want anyone to end up in a plan that they're frustrated because there was something that they didn't quite understand. So if you do have questions on any of these, please reach out to us. All right, with the Anthem, regardless of what plan you're on, they have a wonderful app that just came out this fall. It's called the Sydney app. So you can go to Google Play or the App Store and download this app. If you currently happen to have Anthem insurance through someone, you could download and use this as well. The great benefits is you can find doctors, check costs, keep track of your claims and benefits. And most importantly, you can view and use your ID card. So we often have calls from people stating they've lost their ID card. Sure, we can simply give you a temporary one until your new one comes, but it's even quicker and faster if you just have this app. You can pull it right up on your phone. Most people have their phone with them when they go to any medical visit, so your card is right there for you, and you don't have to be worried about carrying one around. So great device to use. We highly encourage it. You can also create an online account with Anthem after you have your membership ID number, and you can access all of your benefits online as well. All right, somebody just had a question. Anthem is Blue Cross Blue Shield. Yes, it is Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is the long name of it. Okay, as we go into your dental insurance plans, as I mentioned, you have 3 dental insurance ones. These are all going to be through MetLife. There's a high, mid, and low. And the biggest differences in these, one is going to be that calendar year annual benefit maximum. So this is the maximum amount that MetLife will pay for any treatments or coverages that you need during that calendar year. And these are per person. So on the high plan, if you're in network, they would cover up to $2,500, mid $1,500, and then of course the low $750. You'll notice the differences here in network and out of network. It is very important for you with dental and vision to make sure you're asking your provider, are you in network? Not just if they accept MetLife. 90% of dentists will say, yeah, I take MetLife. That does not mean that they're in network for it. And the costs that you're going to pay and what insurance is going to cover is going to be different if that dentist is in network or not. So make sure you're asking that important question. Dentists kind of like to be tricky on that. The other important thing to note on these is if you need any orthodontic treatment for any children, it is for children only. that is only covered on the high plan, and that is a lifetime maximum of $1,000. They cover 50% up to $1,000, but the mid and low plan do not have orthodontic benefits. So if you've got some kiddos that are going to need some treatment in the next year, you definitely would want to go with that high plan. Also note that MetLife does not send ID cards. You do not need an ID card to see your provider. You simply provide them with your social security number, date of birth, and letting them know you have MetLife, and they can look you up in the system. The other offering that you have available to you is called Alpha Dental Plan. This was a discount fee for service. All of the providers that you would see are in network, and you have to see one of those providers that's in their network. You can't go outside of that. They have set co-pays and fees for each of the services. So when you go and get your teeth cleaned, yes, you are going to pay something, whatever those contracted rates are, whereas you'll notice with the MetLife preventative services are covered at that 100%. So you will pay for everything with the Alpha Dental. It's just going to be lower rates. And as you guys are out of state, there is a specific out of state network for all of you. So that's not an option. That's not a problem either, nor should the MetLife be. We specifically have all of the benefit offerings for Anthem, MetLife, Alpha Dental, where they are nationwide. So you should not have troubles finding providers anywhere. But if you do want to go and look up and see if there's a provider that you like, you can simply follow this link here, and that will take you to the Alpha Dental website. Last one is that vision insurance. There is just one plan. It's a great plan though. It does have that in-network and out-of-network benefits, so make sure you're asking that important question again. You'll notice you have co-pays, most of them for in-network, and allowances. That basically means that cost is going to be higher. The eye exam could be $90. Well, they're only going to pay $45, or it could be $75 and they're going to pay $45. So it's hard to say. Also note that the frequency of you being able to get lenses, contacts, and frames, those do vary between that 12 and 24 month. And then same thing, you are not given an ID card. So you just let your provider know you have MetLife, and they look you up with your social security and date of birth. Biggest question we have is, well, I want to know if my doctor's going to be in network. So included in this material you'll receive are specific instructions that you can go to and see if your provider is in network. There's going to be information here for the medical, the dental, and the vision. Most of them, the important part that people are looking for is the network. So it's the traditional PPO on medical, PDP plus on dental, and PPO plan on vision. All right, I mentioned a little bit ago those HSA accounts, and then we'll also cover FSA. So an HSA account is basically like a savings account. You choose how much money you want to be put in there each pay period, and this will grow and grow and grow. You'll use it if you have to go get medical treatment, but the best benefit of health savings accounts is that money always remains yours. You don't lose it. So if you put in $3,600 for the year and you only used $1,000, you're going to keep that $2,600. It's just going to keep growing, and you'll keep adding to it as the years go on. If you do still have money in your account when you retire, you can use that for retirement reasons. For 2021, they did increase the annual maximum amounts allowed. It is $3,600 if you're covering yourself, or $7,200 if you're covering dependents. If you happen to be over the age of 55, you can add $1,000 to each of those. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out how much you may want to put into your HSA. And the HSA account is only eligible with that high deductible plan. So you'll note when you're going through ease, if you don't select that high deductible plan, then the HSA account's not even going to show up as an option to you. However, if you select one of those PPO plans, what you can pair it with is a flexible spending account. This is also going to be an account where you put money in each pay period, and it kind of hangs out in that account for you to use for medical needs. However, the biggest difference for the flexible spending account is it is a use it or lose it. So if you don't use all of those funds through medical reasons, dental vision reasons for the entire 2021, you would lose that money. We do not have a rollover, so you do have to have any costs be in 2021. You are granted a few months after that to submit any final receipts, but whatever you're wanting to use that money for, it has to have occurred in 2021. So just be careful with that and how much you're allotting to that fund. The other one that anyone can do is a dependent care FSA. This allows you to put pre-tax money aside to pay for daycare or child care reasons. They kept the amount at $5,000 per family. However, I do caution everyone with the dependent care account. If you want to do this for 2021, please make sure you're 100% positive that you're going to have those daycare costs. We did see this year for the first time, they allowed a one-time change to dependent care accounts where people could stop their contributions. That is not normally the case. With all FSA accounts, what you select is what you have for the whole year. You cannot change the amounts. However, with the pandemic and so many daycares and child centers closing, they allowed a one-time stop to that. We don't know that they're going to allow that for 2021. They may not. So just make sure you know you're going to have those costs regardless of the pandemic before you enroll in those. Also, something to note is we do all of our health saving and FSA accounts through Rocky Mountain Reserve. I will show you in a moment if you currently have an HSA account and you want to keep it with the bank that you already have. We do have a form that you can fill out giving us your routing and account number, and we can make sure your HSA funds go into your personal account. The next few pages are going to give you more specific information on these HSA and FSAs, specifically what you can use the HSA dollars for. There's the common expenses, potentially eligible, meaning you most likely need a prescription, and then some of those ineligible expenses. We also like to point out that our provider, Rocky Mountain Reserve, you can create an online account with which you can monitor everything, or even better, they came out with a mobile application, and we highly recommend people download this and use this for any HSA or FSA accounts. You simply just search RMR benefits in the App Store, and that would pull up for you. There's going to be additional information here for the flex spending accounts and for the dependent care accounts. Note that flex spending, dependent care, those accounts can't be carried on. So if you currently had one for 2020, that would end. We would automatically open one up for you through our provider. You can't roll over those accounts. So if we do not receive a form for you on the HSA stating you have your own account, we will automatically open one for you through Rocky Mountain Reserve for that HSA, or automatically open for FSA or dependent care accounts. This is the specific form I was referring to. If you do have your own bank that you want to stay with, simply fill this form out and send it back into us at that benefits@concurrenthro.com email, and we will make sure we get this entered and your HSA funds would go into there. All right, the next few screens are just going to go over some more specifics for you in regards to the dental visits. There's additional information on the high plan, the mid, and the low plan. But what I like to point out is this page here. This is going to show you what actually falls under preventative, basic, or major. Most people like to know when they're looking at those percentages of how much the insurance is going to cover, well, what falls where. So this is going to be an easy way for you to see, oh, okay, a sealant for my child falls under basic, but a root canal is major. Different things like that. And it's also going to show you how many of those and how often they would cover those. And those are all per person. So it's just kind of good to know how these are. That can sometimes help you make your decision when it comes to the dental plans. There's also more information in here about vision. One thing I like to highlight is on the frames. They do give you a $150 allowance. However, if you go to Costco, which it seems more and more people are, that allowance is $85, but then you do get an additional 20% savings on what you pay over your allowance. So I do like to highlight that out. We've had a few people come back and say, wait, they only gave me 85, not the 150. Well, they have a different agreement with Costco. Next thing, supplemental term life. As I mentioned previously, your employer is graciously providing you with that $50,000 of life insurance. However, we do note that many people would like to add on supplemental life insurance. So you as the employee can be covered up to a maximum of $150,000 without any medical questionnaire. So if that's an amount you would want, now is the time to do it. And they're not going to ask you any additional questions. Now, the maximum you can do is $500,000, but they are going to make you fill out a health screen form to get anything between that $150,000 and the $500,000. You can also cover your spouse. The non-medical maximum for a spouse is $25,000 without questions. You can cover them up to $100,000, knowing between 25 and 100, they would have to fill out that health screen form. And also note that you can't cover the spouse for more than 50% of what you're covering yourself. So if you did want $100,000 on your spouse, you would need to do $200,000 on yourself. Children, those increments are a little bit different, but the maximum you can do is $10,000. And it's a great price. It's very cheap. There is a monthly breakdown here for you to figure out what those premiums would be based upon your age and the amount that you're selecting. However, when you go into Ease, it's going to calculate this for you. So if you don't want to sit here and try to do the math, it's much easier to go into Ease, put in an amount, 50,000. Okay, it pops up and it says it's $3. Well, what if I took it to 75? Okay, now it's telling me it's $7. So it will figure that out for you, and you can play with the numbers when you go in there. I recommend that a little bit more. I also mentioned that, oh, sorry, somebody just asked, is there a medical exam or blood work as well with the screening form? The initial form does not require either of those. The initial form is simply asking you a bunch of health questions. I've seen one person in my time that had to actually go for a medical exam, and that was somebody who was trying to get up to that 50, 100,000. After they reviewed the health screening form, they did have that person go and get an exam, but it is not very common. Usually you submit the form, no exam, no blood work, and then they come back with a decision. And sometimes they'll come back in the middle. They'll say, well, they request 400,000, we're going to only give them 300. Great question. All right, now the 4 colonial products that I mentioned earlier. So the first one that's available to you is a short-term disability insurance. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to cover you should you need to be out for a medical reason. There's 2 different plans. There's a 3-month benefit or a 12-month benefit. And both of them do have a 14-day waiting period, meaning the first 2 weeks you're out, they would not be paying. This one is set up a little bit differently than other plans. It's not a percentage of your salary that you get. You select a specific medical monthly benefit amount. So say, for example, you wanted to select the $2,500 for 3 months, you can see what your cost would be there based upon the age breakdown. So if you end up out, they're not going to pay those first 14 days. And then after that, they would pay that $2,500 monthly up to that 3-month benefit, or 12-month as you see below. Also, when you go to sign up for this, you may not see that maximum there of 5,000. It is dependent upon your salary as to what the monthly maximum amount is that you can select. So one person may see 3,000 as a max, another person may see 2,000. So don't be surprised if you don't see the 5,000 on there. It does also have a year look back period. So it is going to look back and see if you've been medically treated for a specific reason on something in the last year. They would not cover you if you go out on short-term disability. It has to be for a new medical reason. especially important with pregnancy. If any of the females are thinking about getting pregnant, you could select this, but then you'd need to make sure you wait a year till you're actually pregnant. The next one, and this is probably the most popular one, is our group accident insurance. This is going to cover you and any dependents you choose for anything such as fractures, dislocations, burns, concussions, anything like that. All of these plans note that they don't ask for like explanation of benefits through your insurance provider. They are simply all based on what occurs. So with the accident, you provide proof that your child broke their arm. If you're covering your children as well, then there's going to be a payout for that. The best part of the accident plan is they do have an annual wellness screening. So if you remember, all of those preventative visits were 100%. As long as you go and get that annual screening, you'll provide proof of that to Colonial, and they're going to give you $100 per year. So great benefit, especially if you have, say a family of 4 and you're all covered, you'd get $400 as long as each person goes and has that wellness check. The next one is group critical care. This one, you've got 2 different options. You have a $10,000 or $20,000 payout, and these are going to cover you for things such as a brain tumor, cancer, kidney failure, heart attack, stroke, anything like that. You choose if you want a $10,000 or $20,000 benefit, and then it's going to be based upon your who you're covering. You'll notice below, this is not a typo. Employee and children are the same as the employee. So if you do have dependent children and you're going to cover yourself, you might as well add on the kids because there's no additional cost. Same thing if you're covering you and your spouse. If you have kids, you might as well add their names on because it's no additional cost. So just keep that in mind, that children are basically free to enroll in this, depending if you're enrolling yourself or yourself and a spouse. The last plan is going to be our hospital confinement insurance. This basically is a payout should you end up in the hospital and actually admitted for any reason. There is $1,000 or $2,000 payout. Now note that these first 2 on the screen are the pricing if you're on a high deductible plan. These last 2 are if you're on one of the PPO copay plans. So there is different pricing based upon which medical plan you're enrolled in. The high deductible ones do have also an accident only emergency room payout, yet the 2 PPO ones have a payout for some outpatient surgery that you may experience. If you have specific individual questions, we highly recommend you reach out to our Colonial rep, Melissa Cole. She's fabulous and she can answer the nitty-gritty details of each of the plans. We did provide in here more information as best we could for what those plans include. I do like to point out on the accident one, say for example, you fall off your ladder, hanging those Christmas lights, you break your leg. Maybe insurance is going to cost you $735 once it's all done. The payout on it from Colonial would be $1,780. So, and they don't, like I said, they don't care what you do with that money. You can go on vacation, save it, do whatever you need to do with it. There are also benefits based upon if it's surgical or non-surgical. So for example, if there's a broken wrist, if you don't need surgery, it's $450 payout. If you did, it would be $900. And then they do also include some additional payouts for follow-up visits, rehab, some things like that. But as I mentioned, the wellness screen health benefit is one of the most popular reasons. Again, it's that $100 per person per calendar year. Note that there is a 30-day waiting period. So if you do elect this, make sure you don't get that wellness check until after basically February 1st. I would hate to see you go in January and not get it just because you're a couple weeks into that 30-day waiting period. The critical illness plan, there's more information here as to more specific reasons that there would be a payout. You can read through all of this and see those different reasons. And then the hospital confinement one, this first one here is the one that's HSA compatible, that high deductible. It's a 1,000 or 2,000 per day, or if you have an accident, go to the ER, it's 150. With the PPO copay one, there's that 1,000, 2,000, but then there's 2 tiers based on outpatient surgical procedures. So those are listed under here. So for example, if you were on this one and you had a colonoscopy, that's a tier 1. So you would have a $500 payout on that. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Kasha for a moment, and she's going to go through the last few plans.
Hey, thank you, Julie. Okay, let's talk through a couple of additional voluntary plans. So the first plan you will see on the screen is Legal Shield. So this is the company name and product. Essentially, Legal Shield helps with legal planning in the areas of estate, family, financial, auto, home, and then they also have a general 24/7 emergency in case you have any legal questions. So this product is great to pair with, as Julie was speaking about, the life insurance. This product offers that estate planning, so great to pair with that. I can tell you from my experience, my husband and I are going through the will process. Essentially what Legal Shield does for us is they pair us with a local law firm. We received their information in the mail and via email. So we were able to contact the local law firm, let them know we want to go through the estate planning process. They provided us about 5-page questionnaire going through assets and items that you would typically find in a will. Once we fill out this questionnaire, we would send it back to the local law firm and they would provide us a will that's legally binding within 10 days. So they recommend typically for if you're doing estate planning to update that once a year. So great as you're looking at the additional benefits, voluntary benefits too. Note on the bottom left that this plan is $17 voluntarily per month, and this is for employee or family, so that's just one price there. Note that out in the market, this price is usually $25 per employee per month. So the cost savings there is great with this partnership with Concurrent HRO. And if you have additional information on what else is covered through Legal Shield, you can visit benefits.legalshield.com/concurrent. Okay, the second product we have is ID Shield, also the company name and the product name. So this product allows you to have identity theft protection. So they help with monitoring your information, detections, they provide you alerts. They do have unlimited consultation. They have identity theft restoration, so $1 million for any fraudulent activity for that restoration purpose. And this product also offers that 24/7 emergency assistance. So this product is great. You essentially either online or through the app, you would fill out what information you want ID Shield to monitor. So if that is addresses, your credit, social media, you can really customize this product to monitor any information you would like. You can receive alerts via the app and through the email. And if there is any fraudulent activity, you would receive an alert. You can go ahead and dispute that if that was something that you did not do, especially right now. I know a lot of individuals are refinancing, purchasing homes. So this really does help as you're going through that process and your information is out there. Additionally, this you'll notice on the bottom left is for employees $8 per month, and then for a family $15 per month. Very similar to Legal Shield. Usually on the market, this product is $25 per month per individual. So there is a cost savings there. More information, benefits.legalshield.com/concurrent. And as I noted, this product has an app. Legal Shield also has an app that you can utilize as well. Okay, the final item I do want to walk through with you is Working Advantage. So this is more so as a thank you. You do not need to do anything with this unless you want to sign up. So we are partnered with Working Advantage to provide additional discounts and perks. Post-pandemic, this is a great product to utilize for theme parks, hotels, shows, shopping. So they did have some great, I was on there recently. So for the holidays, they have some great discounts available. And even while you're at home with a family, they have some different family activities that you can utilize as well. In order to sign up for this product, you would go to workingadvantage.com, click register at the top of the page, and you would create an account using your email address and a login password. So to utilize the company code that is above that middle picture on the left-hand side, company code is concurrent. So you would enter that information and have access to these discounts. One of our managing partners pre-pandemic was visiting Florida, I think it's about a year ago, and he received 50% off his rental car. So even great if you're traveling for personal or for business. So great savings there. Okay, so now I am going to turn it back over to Julie as we begin to wrap up the call today. We received some frequently asked questions, so we will review those, provide you with a couple of reminders, and then note that if you have questions as we are wrapping up the call, please put them in the chat box and we will begin answering those.
All right, thank you, Kasha. All right, just a few things to review. We know we've spat a lot of information at you today, but you will receive those 2 emails. One will come from payroll@concurrenthro.com. That's the registration for the self-service portal to view your paychecks, pay stubs, everything like that. That second one's going to come from Ease and my email address. We do need each individual to make sure they go in and enroll or waive each benefit option. So if you're somebody that you don't need any of the benefits, you're on somebody else's plan, this process will be very quick for you. We need you to just click through, waive each of the benefits, sign, and you're all done. So each person does need to go in and complete it. Make sure you hit that finish button at the very end so that we do know you're complete on our side. As mentioned earlier, we are looking to have all benefit elections and PRISM registrations completed by December 11th. We do know this is a shorter time frame. However, we want to make sure we get your information to the insurance carriers and you get ID cards back by January 1st. So note all your benefits are effective that January 1 to October 31, and we'll do another annual open enrollment next fall. Unless you have that qualifying event, you can't make any changes. So do notify us within 30 days if you do have a change. Also note that the FSA is with the PPO plan, the HSA is with the high deductible, and we put the limits here for you as well. The other thing we'd like to highlight is if your account is through us, through Rocky Mountain Reserve, funds are not immediately available. What happens is they're deposited once a week, and so it's about 7 to 10 days after your payday. We upload it and give it over to them, and then they have to post it to all of the accounts. So keep this in mind as you're doing your spending. ID cards, you will get a card from Anthem. You will get them for you and any dependents over the age of 18. If you do have minor children, they do not typically send out ID cards for the minor children. You would just use yours or your spouse's card. Reminder, MetLife doesn't send cards. Use your Social Security date of birth. And then ID and Legal Shield, this is really important. You will generally receive an email, possibly something in the mail from them. Make sure you're watching for it because it's going to have your account information and give you instructions on how to set up your account online or through that mobile app. Your membership ID number isn't something that's given to us. We can certainly assist in getting it for you if you need it. However, if you just keep your eye out for this email, it will come through probably the mid to latter part of December, and that can have you set up your account. If you don't tell them what you want monitored, not much point having the account. We do hope that you'll have all of your ID cards and information by the end of December. However, if you need to see a provider prior to that, we are going to be sending you your temporary ID cards as soon as we have access to them, so that you do have something on hand should you need to seek medical treatment January 1st. And again, as we've mentioned, make sure you call out to us, email us if you do have any questions. As I mentioned, we're here for you. All right, a couple questions that did come in was the transfer process bringing over dependents. No, it did not, because what was in your old system was mainly your information that we pulled. We do not generally pull dependents information, so you will need to provide any dependents' social security numbers and date of birth. If your children are covered under a spouse and you're waiving insurance, do you need to put them in as dependents and then waive, or just yourselves? Good question. If you are not covering your dependents on anything, you're only going to be making selections for yourself, then no, you don't need to put your dependents in there. It's only if, say, okay, they're on your spouse's plan for medical, dental, and vision, yet you wanted to cover them for $10,000 of supplemental life, then you would have to put them in. But if there's no plan that you want them on, then no, you do not need to enter them into the e-system. Great question. At this time, I will go ahead and also let you unmute yourselves. If somebody's more comfortable just speaking their question, feel free to do so. And then we will wrap this up. All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions. So we want to thank you guys very much for your time today. We know taking an hour out of your day can be a little difficult, so we appreciate you doing so. As mentioned, we will be sending a copy of this presentation later on. You'll get that this afternoon after the second call, and then those emails will go out as well. So feel free to reach out to us if you have questions, and we appreciate your time today. Philip, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, just thank you for all the information, and look forward to the emails. And to the team, if you guys have any questions or would like to discuss anything that was shared here, certainly don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, thank you everyone. We hope you have a great day.